Happy, happy, happy. I hope you're all doing well. Thanks so much for tuning in today on Act 3 CHLY 101.7 FM. I have a returning guest in the Zoom booth because she's got some really fabulous information to share about RAPS. Please allow me to introduce my dear friend, Karen Kamachi. She's the manager of the thrift store RAPS. We're going to talk a little bit more about it, what it does, and why it's important that you contribute. Hey, Karen, how are you?
I'm good. I'm
Good.
well.
Happy New Year. I mean, it's still, feels very Christmassy around everywhere. I'm not really sure that I have kind of finished doing the ho 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 stuff. I was really looking forward to when it came. And now the idea of the new year, well, there's so much to do coming up ahead. Tell me what's going on for RAPS.
Well, we had to get through the snow, which we didn't do very well. Some of my staff were stuck in that traffic for 14 hours.
Oh my God.
Trying to get home. Yeah, it was quite hard getting out of Richmond when the snow hit here.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, we are doing really well. I mean, donations are pouring in. We are in post-production for Pets and Pickers.
Yay.
And yeah, we're into season 2. We've wrapped up 90%. There's still pickups and little things to do, but the actual filming for us is now over. So it will come out sometime in 2023.
How exciting is that?
It's very exciting. It's been a lot of hard work. The thrift store has been more focused on this year because of a few things that happened to the store.
Yeah.
So because of that, yeah, one of the things, we were hit by a car. The store was hit by a car.
Okay, let's backtrack. You mean over the Christmas holiday,
No, before that, in September.
In September, someone drove through your shop?
Yep, they sure did. She was a learner, and she, not a kid. She was a middle-aged woman learning how to drive. She got the gas and the brake mixed up and drove through the store, went right through the cement.
Oh my gosh.
The store.
Wow. Is everybody okay?
Yes. Well, the driver, my daughter, Kate, who you've met, she actually rescued the lady out of the smoking vehicle.
Oh my gosh.
Pets and Pickers was here right after the store was hit. So you'll see a lot of what happened. I don't want to give away all the good stuff. But
of course.
Pets and Pickers did show up almost immediately after the store was hit.
So Karen, because I know that you and I have spoken about Pets and Pickers before, you've been on the show before, but for those new listeners that don't really know, how about we share with them exactly what Pets and Pickers is, what is RAPS, like what is all of this? Why is this such an important conversation?
It's an important conversation because RAPS stands for the Regional Animal Protection Society. Yeah. We have the largest cat sanctuary in Canada. We have a not-for-profit vet clinic, which offers lower pricing for folks who have a hard time paying. We do have 50% off. We have VIP status. We have lots of stuff for people to get discounts on veterinary care for their animals. We also support other animals. We have a pet food bank. We have fed many homeless, like folks who are finding out that are experiencing homelessness, but they have pets. So we're supplying them with free pet food. And the thrift stores support that. The thrift stores pay for the cat sanctuary to exist. They pay for veterinary care. And that's where Pets and Pickers comes in, because the thrift store earns money to give somebody either a discounted or free vet care.
Yes, and so the subject matter then of Pets and Pickers, which was picked up by Discovery Channel last year, I think it had 8 episodes. Is that right? Was it 8 or 10 episodes?
It'll be 8 for season 2 as well.
Yeah, I have to tell our audience that if you haven't seen Pets and Pickers, it's one of the most beautiful and emotional shows that you will watch on television, found on Discovery Channel. And of course, if you have on demand, you can now get it on demand. But one of the wonderful
Crave too. They've also expanded it to Crave TV. it's all over the place. You can actually get it on YouTube as well.
Yeah, exactly. You can get it on YouTube. It's easy enough to find. So I encourage our listeners and our watchers of YouTube to, to know that I will put a link actually in the chat box so that people can access it directly there. But definitely just type in Pets and Pickers and you'll see what I'm talking about. It is an extraordinary program that helps an awful lot of people within the community. Now, Pets and Pickers and RAPS itself is not located on Vancouver Island. But as many of our listeners know, we actually broadcast all the way across into the Lower Mainland, Sunshine Coast area, down to Duncan and up to Campbell River. So we have a really broad audience for this program. And so where Karen's store is, where she's managing the thrift store, is located in Surrey, right? Can you?
No, okay. It's not. It's located in Richmond.
Oh, my apologies. That's right. It's in Richmond. Yeah. Don't
I have two
all the
here in
wrong
Richmond.
information.
But
Yeah.
you need to know something interesting for Pets and Pickers for season 2. The island has a few folks coming across the water. One is for, I don't want to give it away. So one is for a thrift store related part of the show, and one is for an animal related part of the show. And they came from the island. So RAPS is spreading it. That's why we changed our name. We used to be the Richmond Animal Protection Society, and we changed our name to the Regional Animal Protection Society because we're branching out beyond Richmond. And a few of the people we've helped this season will be from the island.
Which is fantastic because I can see where, here on Vancouver Island, we have a number of concerns for our homeless population is extensive. There are many housing concerns out there. There's a lot of people that have their pets that when you see some of the homeless people, you will often see their pets are with them. Yeah. And so we know that this is a rising need. But I'm going to take a step back for a second, Karen. The pet store itself actually provides the funding, and you get your stuff from all over the place. Would you like to talk a little bit about how you acquire the many different things you do?
I mean, obviously we're a thrift store, so we function like a thrift store. 100% of the proceeds coming into the thrift store goes back out towards the animals and their people. Yeah. On top of that, we get storage lockers that are donated to us. Those storage lockers we crack open, and that is what you see on Pets and Pickers. And season 2, we actually are opening up in different places besides just the bins you saw in season 1. So we do have a little more different picking going on this year than we did last year. And that helps funnel more stuff, and we actually get better stuff and more unique stuff because they're becoming out of storage lockers, and it's not the choice of the donor at that point.
That's right. I understand exactly what you mean. There are many abandoned lockers that sit for several years untouched. People don't go back. They don't pay for the title any longer. And so I was always curious what happens with all that groovy stuff, because there's some amazing things that people put away.
Amazing. Like season 2, we found, I'm not telling you.
I know.
It is spectacular. If you know anything about my husband was stunned because Kathy, you know him, and he was pretty stunned about what we got. It is spectacular this year. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but
no, I understand, but I can't wait.
Have goosebumps. We still have goosebumps by what we found this year.
So just out of curiosity, the goosebump part is wonderful. I'm super glad about that. When does the second season actually begin? What's the first date, and what channel? It's on Discovery Channel.
Because we're in post-production, we're not too sure. Last year it landed in May. So I don't know, but we could speculate probably.
Yeah, for sure. But it gives people a chance to go back and watch the first season again anyway.
It does. It does.
It's a good plan to do that. At the end of the last season, there was the discussion, because you have a cat sanctuary. We'll talk about that in a moment. But at the end of last season, I know that there was some funds being raised specifically to break ground on a new dog sanctuary. Did that actually take place yet?
It did not. And the reason why it has not is because my store was hit by a car.
Right.
That hugely impacted our ability to earn money.
Right.
I've lost 50% of my floor space downstairs. This is a 2-story thrift store. Upstairs is just clothing, and downstairs is where all the good stuff is. And it really, I was closed for a couple of months. Like it hugely impacted our ability to earn money and our donations. You'll see that on season 2 of Pets and Pickers. We go through all of that. It actually changed the trajectory of what Pets and Pickers, the season of Pets and Pickers, of what it was going to be.
Understandably. I mean, if you've lost half your floor space, there's going to be a whole different vibe to what's going on with production overall. And so with this, the changes or the opening, I assume that the dog sanctuary is still going to take place at some point or another.
Yes.
But between now and then, and what happens, why don't you tell people a little bit about the cat sanctuary?
The cat sanctuary, when I first started 15 years ago, we had a lot of cats, like over 1,000. Now we're down to about 500, which is actually probably pretty perfect for the size of space. So you got to remember, that's tons of cat litter. Like, you cannot possibly fathom how much cat litter 500 cats goes through. That means like, it's like when I told my mom about it, we lost Christmas dinner one year because she couldn't fathom the amount of cat litter that we go through. Cat litter, food, any medical care. Of course, all of our cats go to our own vets. But if they need medicine, whatever, we still need to pay for that stuff. We still need to pay for our med stuff. We also built an adoption center out to the forward of that. And that is where we adopt our kittens and cats that are adoptable out. And the occasional dog even goes through there, depending on their needs, because we've had a few dogs come through our doors. So, I mean, it goes to feed, we're in the better feeding and caring of cats. It's a wonderful place to go and sit. One of the biggest things they need, if you're on this side of the water and you want to volunteer, you can just go there, make yourself a lovely cup of tea and pat the cat, because one of the things that they need more than anything is love.
Yeah. Human contact.
Yeah,
absolutely, for sure. And I know in the summertime, I think in the summertime, you open your doors for people to come and visit the cat sanctuary as well. Is that, do you take a donation at the door for coming in to be able to help support the cats, or how do you manage that?
I'm not too sure, because I'm not the manager over there. I'm not too sure, but I think it was, $10 or something like that.
Yeah,
to
so
get into
very,
the cat
very
sanctuary.
affordable.
Yeah. And it's been known that they'll give a discount if you've got a bigger group of people. I mean, the best way to get in for free, sorry about that,
is to volunteer.
Is to volunteer. That's the best way to get in for free. You also get 50% off at the thrift store if you choose to volunteer at the cat sanctuary or anywhere in the RAPS system, whether you're volunteering at the vet hospital, administration, or even here at the thrift store. 60% of the people that work here are volunteers.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think you have a pretty exceptional number of volunteers. Now, did you notice, just out of curiosity, because I know we're coming out of the COVID, crunch, but a lot of volunteers opted out of doing a lot of volunteering during that time. So have you come back to some level of normalcy back at
Not yet.
Not yet. No.
Not yet. No, we lost 95% of our volunteers.
Wow.
95. Like, it wasn't even, a few here or there. Like, it was
a lot.
Enormous. And we're still not back to margins. One store is getting close. My bigger store, not as much. It's the students that are coming back, but I think the seniors and some people who are vulnerable are still quite frightened to be out in public.
Yeah, no, that's very true. I still see a lot of masks in my neighborhood where older populations are quite concerned about going out yet. And especially this time of year, right? It's like, there's a lot of stuff going on with illness over Christmas and New Year's.
Yeah,
for sure.
50% of the people here in Richmond are still wearing masks, I bet.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so it's quite large. And so I'm still not back to capacity. And you got to remember, every time I pay somebody, that means one cat that I'm not feeding, right?
No, I understand exactly. I'm quite clear on that. And I think that our listeners...
If you're not volunteer, if you don't live near Richmond and you can't volunteer, go to somewhere else. Go to another animal agency. They all can use volunteers. Absolutely. Because in talking to all of them, I'm not the only one that doesn't have any volunteers anymore. Everybody is running short.
Absolutely. I think that with RAPS, some of the key issues are that the lion's share of all the dollars that are produced out of the thrift store goes to the care and the welfare of animals. But can you talk to us a little bit about the pet hospital? And I know, I mean, obviously we know that the recipients could potentially have discounts or, be, not have to pay for their vet care. But these are very specific people. This is not the only people that come to the animal hospital. Do you want to touch a little bit about that?
I mean, anybody comes. I mean, regular people come. Like, our vets are the best. Like, I got to tell you, one of the animals featured on Pets and Pickers this year is my own. You'll meet my own dog this season on Pets and Pickers. Anybody can go there. And here's the great thing. People who pay the regular price for their vet services, all those funds, all those profits are turned back into the society so we can offer free or discounted to those who can't. People have to demonstrate that they can't afford it, or that they need a discount, or they need a payment plan. All of that stuff can happen, but anybody who just pays a regular fees or whatever, all of that profit gets turned back into it. And I think we did $4 million worth of free vet care last year.
Wow, that's huge. $4 million. That's outstanding. Wow. A few minutes ago, I heard you say stores is in plural. So you said you've got some small stores around as well. Where are the other stores located?
All the stores are at, well, there's only two, and the other one's here in Richmond too. It's actually the flagship of RAPS Thrift Stores. It's a small little store that's mostly clothing, bit of bric-a-brac. And then there's the one that I'm currently sitting in, and this is one of my donation rooms. It is in another part of Richmond, and then we have pop-up locations like at Christmas. Like we've popped up in New West, we popped up all over the place, and we're actually looking for a third store. So if anybody out there knows of a third location, let me know.
Sounds good. I love that. And of course,
we're actively looking for a third location, and here in the Lower Mainland, it's harder than you think.
I am not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. I know, and it's very expensive as well. And again, the more money you put out there, the less money goes out to helping the animals that you're trying to support. So it's very important. Yeah. Last time that we got together, which was, I don't know, a year or so ago, and I will attach the link as well on the YouTube version of this conversation. But what I was inspired to do was do a monthly donation, because I felt like there were so many people that have, and at Christmas time, right, we've lost our pets. My beautiful Jack Russells are no longer with me. They've been gone about a year now, just over a year actually is the anniversary of Bobby Wilson and Kevin not being here. But I found that even though I'm not having to buy dog food for the girls any longer, that was already budgeted in my regular funding. And so what I decided to do was split it between a local agency here and RAPS. How can people actually do that? I mean, what can people do to be able to help support you?
Well, I mean, as far as the thrift stores are concerned, donate to your thrift store. And be careful about where you donate. The bigger box thrift stores, I'm sure you know which ones we're talking about, do not make a billionaire richer. That's all you're doing. So make sure when you're donating to a thrift store that all the proceeds go back to the society. We are 100%, it all goes back. So you need to make sure that you're donating to it's like Walmart getting all their stuff for free and then charging you.
I understand.
Right. So be careful about where you donate, whether you're on the island or you're here on the Lower Mainland. Be careful where you donate. So donate your stuff. If you don't have money, donate your stuff to thrift stores. The other thing you can do is you can go on to rapsbc.com, and you can adopt a cat from the cat sanctuary. And you do a monthly donation on one of your favorite cats, and there's pictures and choices.
What a great idea.
Yeah, I mean, you can that's a sponsorship, and you can sponsor a cat from the cat sanctuary. You can do a one-time donation. There are many things you can donate money directly. Pets and Pickers has gotten a lot of people donating money directly towards our dog sanctuary thing, so you can donate that away. I mean, there's lots of donate buttons all over the rapsvc.com website. So just go there and pick whatever your fancy is, and please donate, and it's all tax-free.
I love the pun there. Pick whichever one you want to donate.
Yes.
Pets and Pickers. I'm just saying. Hey, listen, everybody, if you have just tuned in, you're listening to CHLY 101.7 FM. I'm Kathy Holmes. I'm the host of Act 3. My guest in the Zoom booth today is Karen Kamachi. She is the manager of the Thrift Store as part of RAPS, the regional agency pet sanctuary. I'm sure I got that wrong, but she'll correct me. Indeed, I know she will.
It's the Regional Animal Protection Society.
There you go, Regional Animal Protection Society.
Yeah.
Perfect. And so, if you want to be a part of this, by all means, we encourage you to do so. So go grab yourself a piece of paper and a pen, because you're going to want to write down the information for RAPS, and then you're going to want to support them. I know you will. It's a worthy cause. It's important to be able to help the animals that otherwise may not, that are often looked over. And we just don't want that to happen. So what got you started in doing all of this fabulous work, Karen?
Cat litter.
Cat litter. Okay. Embellish. What do you mean?
I have a friend, Margaret, and she is on the board of directors of RAPS. Yeah. And she said to me, "Oh, I'm going to do my weekly cat thing. Why don't you come along?" And so we got the outside yards. And for some reason, I've said to her probably every time she sees me for the last 20 years, I'll do the feeding. You can do the scooping. And I'm not quite too sure to this day how I got the scooping, but that's what happened. And then I've done different things for RAPS over the last 15 years. I've helped them with galas. I've done all sorts of stuff. And then they're opening up their second store, and the CEO, AL, asked me if I wanted to work at the store. And it's the best job I've ever had in my life.
Wow. Well, I mean, you're doing such incredible work, right? Like, and what a way to enjoy the day. I'm a thrift store fanatic. I love going to the thrift stores. I like rolling over stock. So I get stuff and then I go, I like this for a reason. No, I'll send it back.
Can I show you one room?
Yeah, you can, but we'll have to describe it, because remember, we're on radio, right? So by all means, but definitely.
I'm going to show you one room.
Sounds great.
This is the room that I'm currently talking to in, is one of the places where we put, when thrift stores get good stuff, or we're out in the stores lockers, we get good stuff, we will hold that, and we will have parties and sell it at parties or big sales. Okay. And you've probably seen the big sales on Pets and Pickers where we have an auction or whatever.
Right? Yeah, the auctions are a really great way to actually bring revenue in, for sure. Yeah,
they are. And I've been having Christmas parties. I've had wine and cheese parties where I sold all that stuff. And so when you come down here, like, I'm upstairs, but this, Kathy, is my clothing room. I get 300 bags of clothing a week. Wow. And so if you're on radio, I know that's going to be hard for you to fathom 300 a week, but that's the room.
My goodness, it looks like a hoarder's nightmare.
It really does. Look at the ceiling fan.
Wow. Right. So to our listeners who can't actually see this, there are black garbage bags from floor virtually to ceiling, about a few inches away from the ceiling fan. That's how many bags there are. And that's only one of the rooms. There are several rooms in this facility.
Yeah, right out there. That's my showroom floor right out there.
Wow.
Clothing is, but I got to tell you, any clothes that we can't sell here at RAPS, we give out to, sometimes they go to Vancouver to the homeless folks in Vancouver.
Yeah.
And then sometimes they actually get packaged up and they go to Somalia for the stuff that we can't sell. And they make them into those bags that we use for shopping, because you can't use plastic bags anywhere.
Right.
And so they
convert them.
They make them, they strip them and they make them into shopping bags and then resell them back to us. So that's
which is a wonderful, it's another wonderful social enterprise to help support Yeah, brilliant.
We also donate to women who are experiencing violence. So we, give them gift certificates and they can come in here and shop for free. So thrift store is part of a community. We're not just earning money for animals. We're helping out animals and their people. So the
Yeah.
people part for the thrift stores anyway is, we do, nothing goes to waste, right? So all those clothing you will see, we will go through every single bag, and it will either be turned into a shopping bag, or a homeless lady will get a nice coat. Like all of our, when coat season ends, we package up all the coats and we take them to the side and we give them away to homeless folks. So nothing will go to waste. So donate to your local thrift store.
Last year on the Pets and Pickers show, there was a pop-up that was done in the East End of Vancouver. And one of the
Yes.
things that struck me was that the medical team was there to help support the dogs that were in this community, not necessarily just by homeless people, but in a impoverished community. I found that to be one of the most moving things that I'd seen, because I know that many people, older adults particularly, will often look after their cat before they will look after themselves, look after their dog before they will look after themselves. If it's a choice between feeding the dog or feeding themselves, they often will feed the dog and not feed themselves, or they will share in the same abundance that the dog is having.
And that's why our pet food bank is so important. Like our pet food bank, this year we've had our pet food bank at every event that I've had here at the thrift store. And, I can't explain to you how many people show up looking for free food of some sort or another.
Well, and that's why I brought it up, was because I understand that the pet food part of it is another great need. Do you have any idea, just, and again, if you don't know the numbers, it doesn't matter, but do you have any, like, a general idea how many bags of dog food that you go through, or cat food that you go through? Like
Thousands.
thousands.
Cat food, a lot of the cat food lands up at the cat sanctuary because we
Sure.
have 500 cats we got to feed. But even that, sometimes we let a portion of the cat food also go to our pet food bank. But I mean, it's just tons of food, Kathy, just literally tons.
Do the suppliers often, are they generous with this, or is this coming from donors? Yeah, a combination.
Both. The only thing we won't take is we won't take an open bag of food, because we can't guarantee that it hasn't been tampered with, right? So
Understood.
the bag has to be, so if you're donating food, by all means, if that's what you want to do that. Just make sure the bag hasn't expired and that it's sealed.
Now, what about things like dog beds and dog cages and cat cage? Like, any of that stuff? Does RAPS take that also? Because
We
I know
do.
that. Okay.
We take all that stuff. We take, the last thing I took to the hospital yesterday was a dog wheelchair. So if you
fantastic.
Yeah. So, I mean, we also take unusual things for pets. You got to remember, we also take things for pets that you don't see: bird cages, aquariums for fish or reptiles, all that stuff. But the last thing I took over the vet hospital was a small wheelchair for a dog, I think. So if your dog passes away, your cat passes away, and they were in a wheelchair, donate it to your local vet clinic. And then they will repurpose it and give it to another animal.
See, I think that a lot of people forget about those things, right? And also that Pets and Pickers isn't just about cats and dogs. Last year you had lizards, you had, hedgehog, baby hedgehog, if I remember correctly. Yeah, you have the snake, right? There's lots of different pets that you can support by belonging to RAPS. So a few minutes ago, I asked people to grab a piece of paper and a pen, which I always do about halfway through the program. And so it's now time that we give people some information on how that they can reach you, how they can support RAPS. What does all of that look like? Do you want to share your details, please?
Sure, you can donate. You can go to rapsbc.com and you can scroll through the many different ways that you want to financially do that. You can bring pet food to any RAPS establishment. You can actually bring pet food to the thrift store. The thrift store I currently am in is, hi Grimmy, I'm on a phone call. is at 9040 Francis Road in Richmond, or 8260 Granville Avenue in Richmond. That's the other thrift store.
Can you say that address again? On Granville?
8260 Granville Avenue.
Okay. And 9040 Francis.
Right, Francis Road, that's where I currently am right now. It is also where they film Pets and Pickers. So if you come by every once in a while, you will see film cameras running around the store. Please don't buy their cameras. The film crew, they saw them for 2 years later, and they're still dropping their, the thing that they clap in between a marker. They've left that thing. People are walking up to the till with their marker, their cameras, wanting to buy it. Like, guys, stop leaving your stuff.
I have to go. We have our show here, and I can use those cameras. So give me a call when you've got some in stock.
More than you think. More than you think.
I'm not surprised.
So you can do that. You can go to our vet hospital. You can also go to our cat sanctuary. All those things are listed on rapsbc.com. And you can donate towards the cats. In the summer, we open up. You can go for a visit and pat a cat, or if you volunteer, you can go there now.
Oh, that's fantastic. And so how do people volunteer? Do you have a process for volunteering?
We do. You can email Mandy at rapsbc.com. And she is our volunteer coordinator, and she'll be happy to hook you up at whatever department that you are interested in.
Is there a criminal record check or anything like that people have to go through, or is that not required for what you're doing?
No.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Come on.
There's a lot of people that want to volunteer to help support community. And so if you happen to love pets, this is a great place for you to go, especially if you live on the mainland. Here on Vancouver Island, there are other areas that you can volunteer for pet sanctuaries. By all means, you can always reach out to us and we'll happily help you find that correct match. But if you live in Vancouver, go see my friend Karen, because you know what? She knows what she's talking about.
I do. I got stuff too. You get 50% from the thrift store too if you volunteer anywhere in the RAPS system. And if you like sorting through stuff, you saw the mountain of stuff I have, so please come on down to the thrift store and help us out.
I would imagine that sorting part has got to be the most fun, right? It's like Christmas every day, right?
Every day. Especially on the day we do storage lockers. It really is like Christmas. We cracked open 2 storage things yesterday, and the film crew wasn't there. We still continued doing those things. I think people think that when TV ends, we end, and we don't.
No, that's right.
The storage lockers still roll in. We still go to people's homes that want us to take their entire contents. We're a weird thrift store in that we take furniture. Because we take furniture, we get a little more that way. Right now it's tough because, of course, we're at half capacity, but I mean, it really is a great thing. And so please,
I'm glad that you're saying that, because I think that I know with COVID, there were a lot of things that were not able to be donated. Do you have any that you don't take right now, or is that now opened up again?
Yeah, no, we do. I mean, you can email me at Karen@rapsbc.com. If you have furniture, send me pictures. And it really is a capacity issue, do I have space? So I really try hard not to say no. If I've said no, it really means that I am filled to the brim and about ready to explode. But yeah, and join our Facebook page, join our Instagram page, because that will tell you when the store goes on sale. Or if we require furniture, I will put a call out on either one of those 2 platforms saying, you got a dead couch, you don't want any more, any of that sort of thing. It just cannot be damaged at all. And and you can drop it off.
You can't you don't get any money for junk. I mean, let's be realistic here.
Money. One of the things we get in the storage lockers all the time. Well, what do you pack up when you put your stuff in a storage locker? You pack up your bed, right?
Yeah.
So 100, almost like it's 95% of storage lockers have beds in them, and it costs me $30. Every time you see me move out of a storage locker, that cost me $30. So Every
So there's
single
the
one.
good with the bad of digging stuff out of there.
There's a
Yeah.
cost to doing business, right?
Yeah, well, and I certainly understand, and that cost actually takes away every single time, right? It takes away
That's right.
from the mouth
So
of
do
an
not
animal
donate
that you're
me your
supporting.
couch that's not resellable.
For
That's right.
sure, for
Yeah,
sure. You can do
for sure.
that. Now, do you buy things as well as far as unusual pieces, or are you just in the market of selling?
Just in the market of selling. That being said, I mean, for a unusual or a big thing, we might be able to give you a tax receipt.
Sure.
A lady donated a beautiful diamond ring. It's worth over $10,000. And she donated the ring, and we just gave her a $10,000 tax credit.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Did you
So
sell the ring?
no, the CRA's got some really weird rules. So I have to have it appraised 3 times and stuff, but then I'm going to sell it. But Kathy, you're a jewelry lover. Oh
I
my
am.
God.
I
It
am.
is.
I'm a crow. I love jewelry. Yeah,
Oh my God. You got to come over here because
I
you
will.
should see what, let's put it this way. All Christmas Eve, my daughters were into looking through all of my stuff because I don't keep the expensive stuff here at the store. It's fantastic. And here's the great thing about all that jewelry is $10,000 goes a long way in my world.
Yeah.
It's going to feed a ton of cats for a long time. You know, somebody who needs a knee surgery on their dog, that can range up to $10,000. That will pay for
Easily.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, all of these donations go a long way to helping pets and their people. But I mean, if you're a jewelry lover, I'm your girl.
I've already got it on my wish list. I've been trying to get over to the store now for ages, and
Yeah.
that I promise you I will get there, and I'll get there as soon as I possibly can, for sure.
Perfect.
Especially, not only do I love thrift, but I like the idea of where the money goes. I like knowing that where my money goes is going to help support another person and their pet.
That's
And
right.
so for me, that's that's the calling card for all things. So I mean, I know that we're not going to talk about pets and pickers as far as the new season, as far as some of the cool stuff that you've seen, but just take them off the table for a minute, because we don't want to spoil alert, right? We don't want to, we want you to watch the show because it's way too good not to watch. And I will say, I cried more than once over that whole situation. It is so moving. The people are so genuine, and the animals really, really need the care and the love. But you've also found some really wild stuff. Now, on the last episodes, there was the giant, guy who came out of the sea, like that's huge statue of
Cool.
Poseidon.
Poseidon was cool.
Over the last few months, have you seen not stuff? Again, to not spoiler alert, I don't want to take away from pets and pickers, but some of the things. What are some of the things that you've seen over the last little while?
You know what? I think what has been surprising about this season has been what I think is garbage is not as it appears.
Oh,
Yeah, and you're going to find that out of garbage comes treasure.
yes.
It's been a I have never had a picking season this good. If that tells you
Wow.
anything, never.
Wow.
And I mean, it's been spectacular. I'm speechless. It has been such a cool thing. We are all dog tired, dog tired, but we are elated at what occurred. Like, I mean, it's okay to be tired if you did some good, and we really did.
Yeah, and I think that that's the part that I love the most, is that there's some really great stuff that comes out of all of this.
Yeah.
Yes. And as a picker, how hard is it for you to walk away from the store and not bring all that stuff home?
You know what? After 4 years, you have to stop, right? It's the 1 in, 1 out rule.
Yeah.
And actually, after a while, you just don't want to bring it home because you're so overwhelmed by it at work. You kind of don't want to do that at home too.
Sure.
So, I mean, if you have your local thrift store, give them your name. If you're a collector of records, like, friends of ours are the collector of records, I have their phone numbers. If I get records, I call them.
Yeah.
I mean, if you collect brooches and that thrift store gets a ton of brooches, leave your phone number. They'll call you.
Yeah. That's a great tip. That's a really good tip. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, we do have our regulars that that come in and do that. But some of the wild stuff that we're going online. Pretty soon we will have an online presence because we just cannot get what it's worth inside a thrift store environment that you can online in a more retail environment.
So what are you finding, like, as 2023 hits, right? We're at the precipice of the new year. In fact, today might even be New Year's Day. I'm not looking at the calendar. This is airing on Monday. We're filming a couple of days before that for this conversation. And if you are listening to an encore production, it makes no difference what the date is. The material is the same.
Right.
So, what do you foresee happening moving forward in 2023 from a thrift store mentality, right? Like, what are there trends that you're seeing? Are there things that people need to really consider? Like, tell me more.
It's hard right now. People are stretching their dollar. I mean, inflation and interest rates are just killing everybody.
Yeah.
So I think people will shop at thrift stores more because you get more bang for your buck at a thrift store than you do if you bought it new from a retail place.
Yeah.
I encourage you to donate to your thrift store because I can see people retaining their things because things are too tight. So donation could get a little tighter.
Yeah, for sure.
For us, that means that picking becomes more important because we're not getting the stuff coming through the door.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're going to notice prices increase a little, even at the thrift store. But you got to remember, I'm still 25% of retail.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the cost of thrift is very, very different than what it is if you're
a t-shirt here at this thrift store is still $2.
Yeah, yeah, incredible,
right? So, I mean, so donate, continue to donate to your thrift store, continue to shop at your thrift store. I mean, when you go to buy something new, think to yourself, maybe they have it at the thrift store, and go there, because most thrift stores, not all, we know that there's a few that aren't, but are, hospice related, animal related in your neighborhood. So shop at your community thrift store that it all goes to charity. Keeps us alive. People think that we don't pay rent. We do. We do have expenses. People think we get our rent for free, and we don't. So we still pay rent. We still have to pay some staff. We still have to pay for the garbage man to come get all the garbage that's left here. So we do have expenses. So please support your local thrift store.
I really appreciate you saying that, because I think that people don't realize just how much money, this is still a business, right? And you still have the overhead of any business, any place else. And you're doing it $2 at a time, which is really significant.
I'm nickel and diming myself to the top. I gotta tell
you are. You're nickel and diming yourself up to the top, and I love every bit of that. Listen, if you have just tuned in, you are listening to Act 3 on CHLY 101.7 FM. I'm Kathy Holmes. I am so delighted to be your host each and every week. Monday is my favorite day, and at 1 o'clock, I like to bring great guests to you, including my friend Karen Kamachi from Pets and Pickers and from RAPS. I also wanted you to know, if you are following also through Nanaimo and Voyager magazines, this month's Tutor Talks article, Senior Savvy article, which is a column that I've written now for 10 years, I think, is talking all about the thrift store experience. So, this is the time, January, out with the old, in with the new, so to speak. I know that many of us received some extraordinarily lovely Christmas presents, but as Karen so lovingly pointed out, one comes in, one goes out, and take it to your thrift store. The Nanaimo Voyager magazine, this month's article has a list of a few thrift stores you may wish to contribute to here on Vancouver Island. But also, if you're watching this on YouTube and you are anywhere in British Columbia, any thrift store that you go to is going to get the support that they need. So make sure that wherever you're calling in from or watching from, anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world, go to your thrift store and help support the people that are in your neighborhoods. I also wanted to share with you that Shaw Spotlight, I'm happy to return Act 3 Season 2, also like Karen has Season 2 on Pets and Pickers on Discovery Channel. Shaw has our Season 2 of Act 3. We're going back into the studio, and so we'll be bringing you our show effective somewhere the third weekend of January. You can watch for it on Shaw Cable 4, new episodes coming out every month. And of course, every week, Act 3 right here on CHL CHLY 101.7 FM. We've been talking a lot about donations to the thrift stores in the last little bit. I also wish to remind you that CHLY 101.7 FM is just coming to the very, very end of our fundraising season as well. So we ask you, if you've got an extra $5 a month at minimum, of course you can donate more. We will not say no. Not only can you donate it to my friend and listen, help a dog or a cat at the Cat Center, you can also donate to CHLY 101.7 to keep this kind of program on station for you. And we're really glad that you tune in at any time to the many programs that CHLY 101.7 offers. So that being said, I've done my pitch for the moment. Let's get back to my guest, Karen Kamachi from RAPS and from Pets and Pickers on Discovery Channel. So I'm really excited about your second season, and I know we have purposefully chosen not to talk about it because we don't want to take things away, but I do want people to know about sort of the preface about the show itself. So typically from last season, what we know is that you have people that have a pet who need some support. And so they, on the show itself, they go to the vet and the vet tells them what's happening with their pet. You have specialty doctors and all that. How about you tell people a little bit more about the hospital itself?
Well, I don't work there, but
I know you don't work there.
I don't work there, but what I can tell you because I'm also a consumer.
Yeah.
I took all of my pets there. My family takes all their pets there. And they have the best team of vets, vet tech, vet assistants ever. They have compassion. They have, they understand the financial burden that can be posed on a family.
Yeah.
And they will not, one thing I love about this vet, they won't do anything to an animal that's not necessary.
Yeah. Very important.
Right. I mean, so that's wonderful. The CEO of RAPS is also very, very supportive of the customers and of the staff. So, like I recently had my cat pass away. He was very compassionate to me and Kate. And yeah, I mean, my cat was 19 years old, so she did live a good life. But RAPS was very, very compassionate to us. And that's one of the things I love about, that's why I work here, is because the vet clinic is full of knowledgeable, compassionate people who are all focused on doing the right thing.
And it's not just about dogs and cats, like we talked about before. You'll notice from the program from last season, and I'm sure in this new season coming in, it's like the hedgehogs, it's the snake, it's the iguana. It's like there's a lot more to a vet clinic than just dogs and cats.
There is. I mean, we're pets. And so anything that kind of virtues into the pet world, we do. Now, is the bulk of it cats and dogs? Yes. But do we do it? Of course. But do we do the other stuff? Yeah, we do.
Yeah. Have you had any horses on the show yet?
No, I don't think actually large animals. I don't know if we do large animals.
Yeah, I don't remember ever seeing.
Yeah, that actually requires a different kind of vet.
Yeah.
From my knowledge, large animal vet's different. Just like one that does birds is an aviary specialist. So it's really quite a specialized field. Who knew that animal care was so complex? But it is, just like people are complex.
Absolutely. And every animal is different. Every animal has its own personality. So as you know, I haven't shared this with my listeners yet, so I'll share it with my listeners today. I'm still a volunteer for Elder Dog, which is a very important organization all over Canada to help older adults keep their pets at home with them as they age in place. Sometimes they need a little extra support, like walking the dog, or if a person has to go into hospital, it's really nice to be able to have a person like myself to look after the pet for a little while. And so I'm thrilled to be part of the Elder Dog situation, but I haven't really had that many dogs come through to stay with me. And so I decided that this year I would get myself fish. So I have now, I know, right? So I for our listeners, I have 4 fish. I have 2 big, fat fabulous big tail goldfish and 2 regular ordinary run-of-the-mill and a Picastomus. And I'm looking for names for these fish. So I'm setting it out to you, Karen. What's the most popular name of a pet that you have had in the last little while?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, right now my dogs are Murphy and Oliver.
Oh, those are good
Um,
names.
Yeah, and actually, if you see any pictures of me, there is some, just so you know, Pets and Pickers now has swag. So if you want to buy
Oh,
a t-shirt, and you can purchase swag. You can purchase RAPS swag or Pets and Pickers swag. Eventually, there will be one, yes, with my lovely face slapped on the back of a t-shirt. You know, my husband's
oh,
gonna
how
love that.
fabulous is
Yeah.
that?
And in that are pictures of my 2 dogs. So anything you see on Pets and Pickers, you actually see a picture of me with my 2 dogs.
Yeah.
You got that. I tend to like people names for
I do too.
animals.
Yeah.
I prefer people names.
My animals have always had people names, usually, names like George or, Sam or something like that, right? But, now those are my family names, so I can't really call my goldfish
Well,
George or Sam.
on Pets and Pickers, my truck driver, her name is Amy. And you've seen her on TV. She actually is going to be adopting a puppy, and she's named
Oh,
Fred.
Fred's a great
Freddie.
name.
Yes, and
Freddie's, yeah.
she is adopting that pet from one of our high school friends, so it should be cool.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, so
Well, you know what? If you think of
I'll
any
send you a
good
video.
names, by all means. If you think of any good names for these fish, by all means, I invite you to reach out and let me know what they are. That would be grand. It's good for them. Maybe we'll call one pet, the other one picker. Who knows? I don't know. Just throwing it out there. We're coming to the end of the program, and I always love having you with us. So I think we got two more things to do. Number one, people may not have gotten the addresses and all of that stuff on the last time we shouted it out. So I think we need to shout it out one more time. How do people find you, Karen?
They find me at 9040 Francis Road in Richmond, or you can go and visit our other location, which is 8260 Granville Avenue in Richmond. Yeah. Or if you want to donate, you can email me at karen@rapsbc.com.
Fantastic. And if people just want to go to the Discovery Channel, Pets and Pickers, or donate in that way, is there a website for that?
Yep. You can also go to Tyson Media. They will have a link for Pets and Pickers. That's the production company that produces Pets and Pickers is Tyson Media. You can go to Crave TV. There's Pets and Pickers there too. And of course, you can just go directly to RAPS. But we're on Crave TV, we're on YouTube, we're all over the place. So just go to Discovery. Actually, just Google Pets and Pickers. We come up.
Yeah. I would say all you have to do is do the quick www.petsandpickers and see what comes up. You'll come up for sure. I know you will.
All right.
We've got about 1 whole minute left. That's it. I always look for that piece of wisdom, my love, always. And you've given us a bunch of wisdom already in this conversation. But what would be your closing thoughts?
Donate to your local pet charity. And if you don't have your money, donate your time. We really need your volunteer help.
Yeah, volunteering is one of the most rewarding opportunities that you can ever have. Everybody should volunteer for something that they love, and especially when we really need volunteers right now.
Yeah, we're desperate. We really need your help.
Okay. All right, everybody, call to action. You know what to do if you're listening to us on the mainland. You know what to do. Go to RAPS, talk to my friend Karen. She'll set you up. Absolutely. You'll be very, very glad that you did. Meanwhile, thanks so much for tuning in to Act 3 on CHLY 101.7 FM. Have yourself a delightful, fantastic, spectacular January 1st. Happy 2023 to you and to yours. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week on Act 3.